Buenas dan saludo tirowami. Greetings to all the people of the Commonwealth. I have filed a complaint today in the federal court in Washington, D.C. I am taking this action so that we can get the answer to an important legal question. We need to know whether the U.S. Congress can legislate in an area reserved for local self-government by our covenant. The only way to get the answer to this legal question is to turn to the court. We can resolve questions of fact by negotiation. We can resolve questions of policy by negotiation, but we cannot resolve important questions of law except in the court. Congress has tried to overturn our labor laws and take away all our labor revenues. They have tried to reduce the number of foreign workers in the Commonwealth to zero. Whether they have the power to do so is a question of law. Our covenant is a legal document. We are the only U.S. territory to have such a legal document granting the right of local self-government. Now, there is a question about what the right of local self-government really means. So we are asking the court to resolve this question. Since the Federalization law was passed, I have consulted widely in the community and with the legislators. I want all of you to know that I understand the concerns that have been raised, and I will be proactive in dealing with these concerns. First, the legislators are concerned about the possible cost of the case. We are directing this work locally, and we will use the Washington lawyers sparingly. I pledge to the legislature that I will not use any funds currently available for public services for this case. I will not cut back public services in a way to favor or in favor of funding this case. I am working on dismissing certain cases in a way that would bring funds, new funds, into the Commonwealth. I am also considering some other funding sources that are not now available, and I will not use funds I do not have. Second, a number of people have raised the possibility of negotiation. I agree with using negotiation where that is a possibility. We are limiting this complaint to a specific legal question about local self-government. We do not question the federal government's right to control immigration, but we do not believe that the Congress can simply wipe all our labor laws off the books. In the covenant, we agreed to a federal takeover of immigration. We did not agree to a federal takeover of labor. However, the filing of a complaint will not affect negotiations. I will pursue good faith negotiations on the points important to us in the area of immigration. We have begun discussions with the Department of Homeland Security on the visa waivers we need for our tourist industry, and we are also preparing materials for them to consider on our foreign investor visa program. I will help the federal government in their task of controlling our border here in the Commonwealth. We are discussing with Homeland Security the possibility that our immigration employees can get positions with the federal government. We have responded to their request for data, and we are helping them scope out their task. Third, some people have asked me about improving our relations with the federal government. My cabinet and staff and I will continue to listen carefully to the federal government's concerns and to respond promptly. I am not filing this complaint because I am anti-federal government. No, I am simply asking the court to answer a legal question that affects both the federal government and us. The governors of states file complaints against the federal government when they need clarification about the federal government's authority. The list of states that have filed complaints against the federal government is a long list, and we are in the same position. We need clarification about our rights under our covenant. After considering all the factors brought up by the legislature and the community, it is the governor's responsibility to decide what to do. Our Constitution requires me to make this decision, and I have made this decision after long consideration. I did not rush to making this decision. I have worked on this problem for nearly 5 months, and we cannot wait any longer. We need an answer from the court before June 1, 2009. We have to allow time for the court process to work and for all parties to be heard. While the court process is ongoing, I will be receptive to possible compromises with the federal government that could be put in a court order. The framers of the covenant 30 years ago put together a remarkable document. They saw a way for us to create a viable economy that would give us a U.S. standard of living, even though we are small islands and far from the mainland. They saw a way for us to earn our own way in the world. The economic experts from all sides agree that this legislation will harm our tourist industry because it will take away the labor pool that supports our hotels and visitor services. It also takes away the labor pool that makes foreign investors willing to invest in our economy. The closure of the garment industry hurt our economy badly. We lost jobs for our citizens, businesses have closed, and tax revenues fell. The closure of any of our hotels and visitor businesses because of this legislation would mean a further loss of jobs for our citizens and a further loss of tax revenues that supports public services. I have concluded that filing this complaint is necessary to protect our covenant and to protect our jobs. I believe that the court process will not take long to complete and that the court will answer the legal question fairly and clearly. At the end, both we and the federal government will know where we stand. Por último, Evangelos Ovafaisin Hamdu todos ni ajudun mijo dan sapotación mijo. Por favor, ajuda-jo ajuda todos samjo. Tagogo lo que sainata, jau bendice hit todos, jau ajuda hit sumodba e problemata mona gilinalata. Si Diyos impan benindisi.